Not to speak is entirely your decision. All I can say is that on behalf of the court and the parties, thank you again for your public service.
Upon your oath, you say that the defendant is not guilty of the count of strangulation or suffocation and not guilty of the count of assault and battery. So say you, Madam Forelady?
Yes.
So say all members of the jury?
Yes.
That was an emotional Stefan Diggs, finding out that he had been found not guilty of felony strangulation and misdemeanor assault and battery. I'm Mike Babcock, and this is A Minute with Mike. That was just moments ago, and it was an absolutely massive moment for the NFL superstar who was facing up to 5 years in prison if he were to be convicted. But as we now know, he will not spend even a single minute behind bars because he was not guilty. Now, at the end of the day, this wasn't much of a decision at all for the jury, who deliberated for less than 90 minutes. At the end of the day, it was very clear that this came down to the testimony of Jamila Adams, who said that in December of 2025, that after a dispute over money, that Stefan basically beat her up and choked her so bad that she could barely even breathe. But clearly, the jury was not buying it. Now, it was her testimony that the whole case rested on, and she was all over the place at times, not answering questions or answering questions that hadn't been asked of her. And very obviously, the jury wasn't buying her decision. Because of it, not guilty, not guilty, case closed. Stefan Diggs in the free and clear.
Madam Forelady, has your jury agreed upon a verdict?
Yes.
On count one, strangulation or suffocation, what is your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
On count two, the charge of assault and battery, what is your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Madam Forelady, members of the jury, hearken to your verdict as the court has recorded it. Upon your oath, you say that the defendant is not guilty of the count of strangulation or suffocation and not guilty of the count of assault and battery. So say you, Madam Forelady?
Yes.
So say all members of the jury?
Yes.
Today, May 5th, is the birthday of Annaway Denise Mackey. She died at 20 in a 2023 Tulsa, Oklahoma domestic shooting. Beautiful and determined, she could do anything she set her mind to. She was creative and enjoyed experimenting with hair, makeup, and nails. She also loved crafting and painting and had recently redirected her interests into learning to be a tattoo artist. The shooter was targeting Annaway's mom, who was his ex-girlfriend, but he also killed Annaway and a friend who was sleeping over. 9 months earlier, Annaway's mom requested a protective order describing abuse that included choking, hitting, and forcing the barrel of a handgun into her mouth. The order was dismissed. Family members testified that she remained deeply fearful of her ex and typically jammed a butter knife in her front door to keep him from returning. When he attacked, he fired multiple shots through a sliding glass door to gain entry. The killer was arrested, tried in the triple murder, and sentenced to life in prison without parole. American women are 21 times more likely to be shot and killed than women in our peer countries. In domestic abuse situations, a woman is 500% more likely to be killed when her abuser has access to a gun. Additional victims like Annaway and her friend Sarah are common.